All right. And what metal did I give you? I gave you what? Na. So Na and steam. So inside of this box, Na is here. So what's the answer?
Yes.
Everybody okay with the people who yelled yes?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you notice about number 1 and number 2? They're the same thing. They're both the same format. So you've still got a metal plus water. So you're still doing what again? Still doing single displacement. You're still getting MOH plus H2. Nothing's different. So what's going to be in M's place? And what's going to be beside M? And then plus H2. All right. What do we need to check on the NaOH? So Na is, NOH is, so they cancel out and they're gone. Now, does it balance?
Yes. No.
Here's your H's.
No.
All right. How many H's are here?
2.
How many H's are here?
3.
There's 1 here and there's 2 here, so that's 3. So what did I tell you to do when you wind up with an odd number? Add a 2 to make it an even number. So we're going to put a 2 here because that makes 2 H's and then 2 H's, which makes 4. So 4 H's. So we need how many H's here? 2. So we've got 4 H's. Now that makes how many O's?
2.
And how many O's here?
2.
All right. How many NA's?
2.
So what are we going to put here?
2.
Very good. All right. The last, whoop, not the last one. Manganese 7. How do I write manganese 7? Just Mn. Okay, we don't put a 7 on it. It's just Mn. You either have an element or you have something with a what number on it. Why do you have the hood back on your head? All the way off. Okay, so does it fit on that list of 7 diatomic elements? No, so it has nothing on it. Plus, oxygen. Is oxygen one of the 7 diatomics?
Yes.
It gets a 2. Okay, so you're either empty or you got a 2. Something on it, which is a 2, or nothing. There's nothing in between. You don't put a 7 on it. So, where do we check the chart for this one? On the oxides. So if I flip back over here, get rid of this green. Okay, the oxide one is this one. Is what I gave you. What I give you? I gave you Mn. All right. Is Mn anywhere in that range?
Yes.
So the answer is yes. So what do I make? What kind of reaction is this to have Mn plus O2? Synthesis. Huh? So what do we get? Mn with an O. Okay. Now before you stick a subscript on there, put Mn with O. What is that thing? It's a compound. What do we do with every compound? Crisscross. So what's Mn's oxidation number?
7.
This is why I had to give you the 7 on this side. Whatever the oxidation number is on the left, it's also that oxidation number on the right. Huh?
We don't put the little Roman numeral on the left side.
But I have to give it to you on the left side because whatever it is on the left is still the same thing on the right. Okay? So that plus 7 is still there. And then that is a negative 2. Did you meet? Oh, I can't wait to do this. So we have a 2 and a 7. Okay? But I have to give it to you on the left so you know what to use on the right. If I don't give it to you on the left, you have no idea what to use on the right, correct? But just because I gave it to you here doesn't mean you stick that 7 there, which is what people do. Okay? You only use this so you know what it is. This is an element by itself. So you ask yourself, it's by itself. Is it one of the what? 7 diatomics. Is it? It gets nothing. This was by itself. So you ask yourself if it's one of the 7 diatomics, and you said it was, so you put a what on it? A 2. That's all you do for those single elements. This was a compound, so you did what with it? You crisscross the oxidation numbers. That's why I had to tell you here it was a 7. Because if you look up manganese, it has how many different oxidation numbers listed on that sheet? It has a lot. So I had to tell you which one to use. I wanted you to use which manganese. I wanted you to use the one with the 7. That's why I had to tell you that. Does that make sense? All right, is it balanced?
No.
No. So everybody's getting pretty good at these at this point. So we would have said 7, 2, and 4. All right, the last one. What's that got?
It's acid.
It's an acid. So zinc, is that in the range?
Yeah.
Yes.
Acids are here. Is zinc in that range? Yes. So all we have left is to come back over here. Zinc has what oxidation number? Plus 2 plus 1 minus 1. Who's switching? So Zn will be with who? And then plus H. Okay, this is a what? So I do what to it? Okay, so plus 2 minus 1. Bring my 2 down. Looks like a 7. Let me fix that. And then H is by itself, so it's a what? It's one of the 7s, so we put a 2 on it. To balance, we need a 2 here. Question.
Okay, so basically, with the rules of the single displacement, we only do that one rule with the metal and the water, and then the rest of it is like the regular way that we talk.
It's the metal and water that messes you up. Everything else is normal.
Okay,
It's the only exception. Yeah, that's the only exception that is going to throw people. Okay, everything else fits in the A, C, and D, but they fit like what we've all learned. Okay, and you can always look any of them up, but that B is the only one that's going to throw people off because it's an exception. All right, questions about anything in the opening before we talk homework? Anybody? No? All right, let's look at homework before Darlene strokes out over there on her desk. She's already out. Don't give up on me yet, Darlene. Not time to quit yet. Okay? Let's try this one. I got 2 of these. Let's see if I pick the right one. If not, I'll try the one below it. I think those are the answers. It's not the one that has the questions, but it has the answers. The one with the questions is below it. All right. And they're not numbered either, but they're the answers. They're not on the back side?
What about wait till and then we had those 12.
That's the 12.
Yeah, this is,
Oh, sorry.
I was like,
I was going to say, I just swore those were the 12.
I thought you thought those were the 5.
Miles, which ones exactly are you thinking you're missing on these?
I think those were the last.
Okay, you got 10. I go through the dates that we're supposed to have. Get that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you got continuations here. Hang on. 4. All right, we got those checked?
Yeah.
Because I cannot figure out how Tomas has numbered these. You might have to come help me. All right. I know those are a little bit on the tiny side. I can make them bigger. So they're like this, and then I can scroll.
It was 15, 14, 10, and 21. I wouldn't have never figured it out. Right. I would have never figured that out.
I don't think I have anything that hard on the test tomorrow.
My brain just can't
Tomorrow.
take that this morning. You're like, man, you got a test tomorrow.
No, the next day you're here.
Saturday.
The next class day.
Yeah, Jake, you show up tomorrow if you want to. But I'm not.
The next class day.
For real?
No,
Okay, so why is it?
he has high hopes.
Why is it so?
There's no snow in the forecast. It's in the 50s, the lows are in the low 30s.
Somebody said we were going to get snow next week. I was like,
There's rain. There's no snow.
Sleep.
I'm
There's
tired.
no sleet on the forecast. There's nothing even cold enough for sleet. All right,
Still get cold.
so which ones do we need to do?
Wait.
Can we do number 11?
Okay, which one is 11? The
The second one to the
H2SO4?
bottom.
That's not what I meant to do. I did the wrong one. Can you what? Go right ahead, because that'd be very helpful.
Oh,
All right. That's what I meant to do. All right, so we have H2SO4 plus Al. All right, all acids. It doesn't matter which acid you're talking about. Always have hydrogen, right? Hydrogen is just the first element. Look up hydrogen on your oxidation sheet for me. All right, look up hydrogen, because you're going to see an acid on the test Monday. I guarantee it. It's going to be there. All right? Tell me its oxidation number.
-1 plus 1.
Which one are you supposed to pick? Because every year, people struggle with this, and they pick the wrong oxidation number half the time. Which one should you pick? +1. Hydrogen is written where in the formula? First. So you have to pick the +1. Hydrogen is just the first element in the compound, so it's your positive element. Everything after that is a polyatomic ion. So just put it in parentheses, and that 2 came from where?
The polyatomic ion.
The polyatomic ion. So if I had phosphoric acid, for example, the 3 came from where?
The ion.
The ion. Hydrogen is your +1. So you have a positive ion and a negative ion. So in this one that we're talking about, we've got aluminum, and you're doing what? This is a compound plus an element. So what's aluminum's oxidation number? +3, right? So who is switching in this formula?
Aluminum and
Okay, so if they switch, what are we going to wind up with over here? With, and then plus, okay? So what do I wind up with up here?
3 and -2. And then
So 2 comes down and 3 comes down, and this is,
diatomic.
so we put up
2.
exactly. And then you would just balance it. Okay? The biggest problem people have is they try to do something with a whole acid
Yeah,
all together at one time. And you don't. It's just a compound like everything else. First element, polyatomic ion. Okay? What else on the homework is bothering you before we do the activity series? Anything else on that sheet? No. Other than you would have never balanced number 12 on its own.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything was okay.
I didn't have a calculator, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do it.
Okay. All right. So the activity series. All right. That should be in here. And these we'll have to do because I don't have the answers for these written down. All right, that should be this one. All right, so you would have had Ni plus HCl. What did you decide? Was that a yes or was that a no?
Yes.
That was a yes. And I said nickel 3. So you would have had NiCl3 plus H2. And then to balance it, you would have said, I need a 6 here. And you would have said, all right, I need a 2 there, and a 2 there, and a 3 there. What can you tell me about number 2? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes? All right. if I look at that on the chart, that would have been a +3, a -1, and a -1. Bromine has to be above chlorine because bromine is by itself, right? So if I cruise here, is bromine above chlorine? Mm-mm. Okay, oops, wrong way. Bromine, which is alone, has to be above the chlorine.
I thought the oxidation number for BR was like +1 since it was by itself. It's always the first
F.
one. It's by itself.
See, this is one of those other rules we talked about the other day. All right, F, Cl, Br, and I. All right, look at where they're at on the periodic table. They're all here in this group 17. The 5 clear brown iguanas. The only oxidation number we will use for weeks. We might change it at the end of the semester, but I sincerely doubt it. The only one we've used is -1. The only one we're going to get to is probably going to be -1. We will not get to any of the positives. Okay? So, now that you know that, okay, bromine is not above chlorine, so this one will be a no reaction. All right, so we don't even have to predict that one. All right, what about the sodium plus H2O as a liquid? Okay, will that react? All right, if we cruise over here to water as a liquid, which is here, will the sodium react? Yes, it's the very bottom of it, so it's a yes. So we need to predict that one. This is like the one in the opening. This is that metal plus water. So what do we get? We get that MOH plus H2, right? So NaOH plus H2. Those two have ones, they cancel. We need a 2, and a 2. All right, what about Ag plus H2O?
No.
If I cruise back over here, steam is here, Ag is way down here. Yes or no?
No.
So we're going to write
No.
no reaction.
No. X.
And the last one, I don't have any water, acid, or oxygen, so I need my oxidation numbers again. +2, -1, +2. Who has to be above who? Bn, Ba above Bn, that doesn't even exist. Ba above Zn is, I do that all the time. All right, Ba is Ba above Zn.
Yeah.
Yep, so our two products are Ba, Br, +2 -1 plus Zn is not diatomic, so it gets nothing, and this one is already what? So we don't have to do anything else to it. Questions? Any questions about anything? No? Okay. In that case, we're going to practice for the test. I got 2 things for you. I'll make Sophie and Eduardo my assistants. Now, the first thing I have that Sophie's going to hand you is a half sheet. It says activity series. The only thing that's going to be the activity series. It's the last 4 questions on the test. Eduardo is going to hand you a sheet that has predicting, it has balancing, and it has word equations on it. Now, the only 2 things that are on the test that I have not put on that sheet are telling types and the symbols. Okay? What 4 symbols did I already tell you I'm not putting on the test?
Gas, liquid, solid.
And
Yield.
those 4 I'm not asking you, okay? Everybody already knows those. The other symbols are fair game. And the types, if you don't know the types, they're already on that blue sheet. You can look them up. Now, the types are 2-point questions, so that's 6 points of the test. And the types are, I think I have 4. And there are 2 points each, so that's 8 points of the test. There's 14 points of the test. Everything else that's on the test, I've given you review to practice with. We're going to take, I'd really like to have about 15 minutes at the end to talk about mole ratios. Okay? But everything else, we're going to spend time working on. I'm going to give you a little bit to work, And then I'm gonna come around and get Royal Pain to look over your shoulder and see what you got on your worksheet. If you have questions, I'll be glad to answer them. But I am gonna come around, look over your shoulder and see what you got. Okay? The last two worksheets I've given you, did I put anything really hard with decomposition or synthesis that had to come off the blue sheet?
No.
This one does. Okay? You will have some things that have to come off the blue sheet on this. The biggest section of the test is predicted. So you'll notice out of the 20, 1 through 12 are predicted. Word equations are 13 through 16. And then balancing are the last 4. Out of the remaining parts of the test, the biggest chunks in terms of points are predicting, the activity series, and balancing. Word equations are the smallest chunk of the test out of this review sheet. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so on the half sheet
Uh-huh.
for number 2,
Uh-huh.
F2, would that get a negative?
It would get a negative oxidation number. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. Thank you so much. I tried so very hard.
Remember the opens.
Oh, thank you. I'll fix that just a second. You're great.
No, was I supposed to go see her? I don't even know when she's here. If she don't come to me, I'm not gonna go.
She's here today, but I went to her yesterday after the week for her.
Cause I'm not gonna chase her down.
All right, so you have 9. Put this in power school for you.
Did I touch up my grade?
No, not at all.
Okay, so SN, the population.
You can use it when you want. Is it?
Can I come back lunch to look at the quiz?
Which one you got? Yeah. Yes, I did. So what now? I'm not sure I understand what you mean by how do I know which one needs to go to the other? Yeah. It's a chart, so I know what you're talking about. Yeah, so you have to have you have to have the same, both of them have to be positive or both of them have to be negative. So like if we go back here, okay, chromium was not in the range of this. All right, how did you decide that was automatically no reaction number 2? What method did you use? Because I'm thinking that one's an oxidation number 1. Because do you have an arrow with water in it? You have plus water, and plus water is a gas, plus an acid, plus oxygen. So this is gonna be one like you're asking about, so this is gonna be one that has oxidation number. So what's the oxidation number for fluorine? Give me -1. Yeah, we haven't used anything that's a positive on those. That's what, I think it was, no, Sophie you asked. So fluorine, bromine, and iodine, all of those were -1s. Okay, so that'll be a -1. Potassium has a what? And bromine is what? All right, so who has to be above who? So chlorine has to be above.
So that would be a reaction.
That's correct. So take that one off. So the same thing that you're asking me about with number, that's an acid. So it's with H. Starts with H, that's an acid. So that one's an acid. That one's an acid. All right, now this one, no acid, no water, no oxygen. So this one, what's its oxidation number? Okay, so +2. What's its oxidation number? And what's its oxidation number? So who has to be above who there? Say,
VA has to be above.
Just let me leave it on.
it's not cold in here.
Just let me leave it on for the day.
Okay, but if an administrator comes in here, I'm throwing you under the bus.
All right,
I'm gonna back up over you too.
all right.
VA has to be above.
But it's
Right.
not instant.
Okay. Yeah, above FE. Okay? All right, who else has a question for me? Should I come torment Darlene again? She just looks at me like, please God, don't.
What's that
Huh?
saying that she?
You want to stand up back here and do it?
What's that saying she used?
Hector now owns 5 clear brown iguanas.
Hector now owns
I don't care if you're working together. As long as you're working, I can live with it. Some of y'all, I'm gonna move on test day anyways. We're good together.
Do you have the answers to these?
Yeah,
Okay, I figured out how to
Did you
do
find
that.
I got a big part. I think I have one now. Some of them I don't, but I'm pretty sure I have. These I didn't have the answers to, because they're a little harder to do on the fly. Things I can do on the fly, a lot of them I don't have the answers to. I did some of them last semester when I started uploading them to YouTube, but these I'm pretty sure I have the answers to. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes. Yes, the only thing, well, that's true, you missed 2 days prior. Do you want a computer, watch YouTube? Do the best you can.
Yes,
Mr. Wall,
yes.
What?
on these kind of just H is the same. Or these are,
H would be one item, CL would be a different item. So you'd get H's oxidation number and CL's oxidation number. The fact that it's an acid makes no difference. It's still a compound with a positive and negative ion.
no, but I'm saying, like when you balance this.
Okay, so do you have an OH over here?
We did.
So yeah, I found the same way. The problem you have is you didn't crisscross your oxidation numbers here. So it's not gonna balance. What's CA, what's OH? I'm looking, hold on. All right, Jaden, talk to me while I'm hunting.
How do you know which one will be the positive?
How do you know which one's a positive, which one's a
I
negative?
mean, they're both one.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Which example are you doing? Where?
Number.
Oh, that'll be positive, that'll be negative. H is first. Yeah, -10, because I didn't specify you can use either one there. My key will have both answers written down. All right, I found the activity series. I'm looking for the other one. There it is. I knew I had it somewhere. Let me find a ruler to put that in my notebook. I need to scan this and upload it.
It's already balanced though.
What's the question? That's correct.
I thought I done 30.
Yeah, that was going on this one.
Hmm,
And you had to go to this paper and then do
you can.
It is.
I don't.
Oh, that, yes, the activity series. Did you watch the video like I told you to do?
Yeah, I need to ask questions today.
You need to watch the video and then ask questions.
Will you let me get a computer in?
Sure. Let's check my keys off my desk and bring it here. And I'll give you the key. It is,
This one, oh, has a two, so that's allowed two. Yeah, number three. Okay, look, MG has the oxidation number 2. CO3 has oxidation number 2 too. They cancel out.
yes,
And then you
she's
move,
correct.
and then you're predicting MgO. O has a 2, MG has a 2, so they cancel out. And then for CO2, it's balanced. You see?
Do you agree with her or no?
That's right. I haven't looked at the problem.
All right, your keys are up here on the table if you want to check anything. I found them. Oh, yeah, I was talking about, you didn't need the keys. What?
Here now. I just got back.
Oh,
Because if you do the little.
The point was it.
Well,
No.
have you been looking at the
Was
videos?
it calling for? He's got, he had a tumor. It opened up. He's like, we're in the house. I'm sure I'll come here. Lay on it, rub past it. It's been draining.
I know it's not.
Ruin the road. Jeremy made an appointment. They said it looked like, they said because it's open top, it was open. Well, she would do something too. And then they said it looked like it was a muscle, which was like muscle. And he hadn't eaten in about 2 days. And yesterday, he kind of acted like he didn't get up. Jeremy said he wouldn't even get up this morning. Take him to the like, yeah, so I told you. Be different if it was like a puppy. We had some great, and then he has probably real spend money. Now that he can barely walk.
We do it the second one.
It's like, you're up here. Like no more, no more pets.
When you get the, when you do this project, this next month, always like really 2 months ago.
He lost.
yes, but there. I mean, that running fish tank in the back, you gotta be a little louder. All I hear is that running tank. Yes, ma'am, I'll give it to her. Who else has a question?
She will get tired of seeing me.
All right. Okay, nickel plus sulfuric acid, so does it react? Here's the chart, it's not off the top of my head. Some of them I do, but that one I don't. So is nickel in the range of sulfuric acid? Yes, it is, so we're gonna go ahead and react it. All right, so what kind of reaction is it? Is it a single, double, synthesis, combustion, what kind? Okay, so what would you do in any single splice reaction? So normal single splice reaction. Okay, and then what do you do on that NiSO4? All right, hang on. Yep, you're good. All right. Now, if this is the test I'm gonna do, what you gonna do with those two tubes? Exactly. Yes, and then check to make sure it's balanced. Is it balanced?
Yep.
You're done.
Look at me.
The only thing I would tell you to do is rewrite it. So I can read it. Rewrite that thing so I can tell what you got. And then I'll answer that question. It's a little hard to read. What you got going on right here? In fact, you guys using years that you're not supposed to have.
I can't concentrate.
Did you concentrate with the music in years? We put it back in years. You ain't got anything with the left side.
I don't know what I'm doing. We absolutely can't.
And you have a compound. You got a crisscross oxidation. Look up the oxidation. That was compound. You looked up on there, you know that. Crisscross oxidation on both sides. Got it rewritten?
I'm sorry.
You want me to check if it was right? How can you be rewriting it and still doing it? All right, we're going to see the polygon count. We got it all to the side. All right, is this a single splice, a double splice, a decomposition, or what?
You're gonna do it here.
Which splice is it? Does it have an element plus a compound? Which double splice? Which two things out of the same side? So you need your oxidation numbers on this one too. You gotta look up your oxidation numbers on HNOCl. What you got? All right, look here. You see how that had, you put a little 2 on the SN? Is SN diatomic? It doesn't put the 2 there. Otherwise, it's good. I just rebalance it without the 2. Nope, positive on the first. Yep. Now you're switching the 2 things out of the same side. The easiest way is to go to my website and pull it up. Or you can type in YouTube. Yes, right. It would have been March 1, 2018.
On this sheet, when it says double replacement, can I put DR or do I have to put DD?
You put in one. I'll put in one. All right, so now, put in your oxidation numbers, put in your oxidation numbers and crisscross.
I'm not gonna do this.
Well, with synthesis?
Okay, and you're ready to balance. Then pretty much the exact same way. What's that 2 right there?
Oh, no.
Never mind.
Cast them out.
That's a lot.
Just check.
Look at this.
I'm not gonna look so bad. I'm not gonna lie. All right, darling, what you got a question on?
I was right over there.
So what is it?
So. Okay, so you were going to put your 2 in.
Right. Okay, go ahead.
So this 2
I did the eights.
Just right. So there's two OHs here, and you get two OHs there.
So is it here?
Yeah. That's two H's. How many CLs did you make? How many CLs are there? How many CLs are there?
The only way that you I see where I went wrong. Yeah. You said.
Y'all go in the back?
It won't be too much.
That's fine, I don't like to hear myself talk, so it's fine with me. No, I don't like to hear myself teach. It's fine with me.
I'm not ready to get.
Myself teach that lesson more than once in my
Yeah.
life.
For an acid, what's oxidation number? Is it positive or negative?
The first element, the H, is always positive, and whatever's after it is negative.
Oh, so it's like that, okay.
Yes. Always works that way. Ready to go further? Huh? Okay. You got that? Oh my God. You can't do better than this. It's family, right? I can't do worse.
This, I'd rather have this, I'd rather have this.
I'm not gonna teach you how to think. I'm gonna switch languages. Just because I can. I would if I could, but I was speaking another language. I don't remember enough.
Or can be a single digit.
Oh, no, yes. I'm like your Reckons Deutsch and Kudenhof.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Positive, you get the same answer on the. Okay, let's say you didn't think about
Your
that
oxidation
and you
numbers.
had double this.
You gotta balance number one, otherwise.
And then,
No, you were-
got the same product, then that's how you know.
Yeah. See how you got the exact same thing that you started with? What's that supposed to tell you? It's not double displacement. It's what? It's got the same thing. Let's check this out. Tell you what. You good? What is the symbol of cap? That says cap. You're right. That stupid cell phone like that. Oh, yeah. Because when you do that, you look up the wrong oxidation number, you crisscross roll the whole 9 yards. Because the rest of them are looking pretty good. But see how you got the wrong oxidation over there? Now you got to crisscross, you got to fix on that side. And then, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, CL back there. Because that was CL. That you had there. All right, number 2 looks good. All right, you did number 3 exactly what I told you. All right. Look, you put chlorine there, calcium.
Okay, so you did that in the first time, right?
All right.
You
Here's what I just told you. See how you started this? You got the same thing?
Well,
What's that tell you? It's not double displacement. You start with one compound.
So that's the
Okay.
RCB over
Okay.
And
It's not double
I told
displacement.
you, is it C?
It's synthesis. So look under synthesis.
You said that.
FC is done.
B.
This one.
Said that. Where did I
Yeah.
said that?
Oh, that's
You
what I
didn't
was saying. I would
That's
have to.
what I told you.
It works, but it's not.
That formation is not going to divide. Look at that, so we can figure it out. Guys, and I'm going to keep trying first. Because your single and double displacement will break. Okay, so see if you can figure these two out on the table. You got any hall passes left? You have lunch with me.
Let's see if this place is inside. I should.
Let's see what you got.
Just look at what that's wrong.
You got all that, so you got these in. Here you go. So we be able to concentrate this weekend and study?
Yeah. This is something with my computer.
I like it. I know it's hard sometimes, right? I like it. Or at least try not to let it advance you, but otherwise.
So what are we doing?
All right, because this is.
So what kind of thing it is? Nope, that's the brown house. Yeah. All right, so go red lights and see what you get. I'm trying to search questions. Oh, well, what's gonna happen is when you do that, you're gonna wind up with the same thing. You switch it, all right, you're gonna wind up with the same compound to start. So what's that gonna tell you when you get?
I mean, like,
C, what you get again is, with this, you're gonna wind up with CaO. Okay, so what's it tell you when you get that? It's not.
This is, I guess it's water.
It is a reaction, it's not double splicing. So what did I tell you? You're gonna look up under there on the surface, and you're gonna see which one fits.
Oh, yes, so it's L, so. Yeah.
All these other ones.
like I said,
So it's the.
watch it.
Yeah. So it's the base, H2.
Here's one of my question.
Yep.
Okay, so whenever we have a water number, we have, why would we have the H?
Yes, because that one is not a metal plus water, that was a synthesis reaction.
Yes. So then all of it is the, 2 flooded and the 2 at there. You're gonna put 2 up here too. Because you need 2 for each.
Because there's 3 together.
You add the 2 here.
So where did you get it?
Right. Got it. You sure? Go sit it. Yeah. So that you go out, yeah.
I don't know.
The brain is gonna flip. So you look at
Alright, so what are you gonna wind up with on the other side?
Oh, okay.
CA was there. You just stack it all up in that.
For you, then we go back to correct.
Okay.
Is this budget?
Huh? Yeah, shut up.
That's not hydrocarbon.
Okay, I'm good.
You see those, what?
It's old balance.
I even got this one even has a camera.
How do you know which one is so?
Just like, I don't know what to do. Alright, darling.
What the
Oh, I got it.
How do you not do that? Oh, easy. How you writing it? Plus, I write off your guess.
That's all right. Don't you go for
Oh, that's your number.
So this one be small place.
Okay. Yield. Doesn't say on the little chart. Yes.
I don't think this is what this. So, well, I said.
Not there.
Oh.
Yeah, accumulations. And I react. Okay, so what kind of reactions is single, double?
If you have a sulfate, add some.
Okay, so let's see what's first.
This one, it was this. I'll switch on that and more.
Yep. And then the NiSO4, you have to look up for one. Yep.
Oh.
It's a kid, well.
No, these last couple. These last.
What you talking about? Right? I don't know.
Who else has a question?
Yeah, I'm down with it. Oh, this is hard. I'm gonna should not have this.
Pretty sure.
I mean, you're fun. I know that. Oh, we want to start with.
You read it right, you gotta balance it. She's correct. You got everything right, you gotta balance it.
What is this?
What? Y'all are never gonna survive the test. Y'all can't do it.
I can't even do
This is only 20 questions. The test is like 30, 35, 36. Pick something. Okay, because you got the same things you started with, and you put the oxidation numbers in, it's gonna be this. What's that supposed to tell you? Is it double displacement?
I'm so lazy right now.
What's it, what is it? It's not double displacement. Look under synthesis on your chart and figure out what it is. It's not
The only thing I have trouble with is the synthesis and the idea. That's it.
on your pencil. All right, who else has a question? Need to go to the back, but I don't want to go where I teach it.
You know, if you have an AP class, and when it's separated by like your two lessons, do your absences start over for the second half of the year?
You get 8 for the whole semester. So you got like 4 first and
Basically,
4.
you get 16 absences for the entire school year. Okay. That's what I thought. Right now, I'm at
You still only get 8. It's an everyday, you get 16 if it's an everyday class. You get 8 because you go every other day. It's still a 90-day class. You still only get 8 absences. You don't get 16. You get 8.
Oh, well.
You get 8. You don't get 16.
Yeah, I thought we had 16 too. but
No.
like, no,
You only get 16 if it's every day for a full year. So like, if you were in like a calculus class, you got 8 for the fall and 8 for the spring. But the AP classes that are every other day, AB classes, you get 8. Like, so you've got ensemble that's an alternating class, right? You're in the everyday, you get 8 in fall, 8 in spring. But if you have an alternating day class, you still only get 8 absences. Because you don't go every day.
One person will tell you one thing and somebody else will tell you the next.
You get 8 per class.
Okay, so this, like right here, this means I'm on 2 the whole time I've been in class.
That's what we want. If you want to know, can you see S1 or final? Can you get to where it says final? That's your total absences. Can you get to where it says final? Final will show you your attendance for the whole thing. If you can see final. If you can see final will show your attendance up to this point.
Yeah, it says I have 1 card.
We are. Does that sound about right? Okay. Final should show you all your attendance. But if like I go into Power School right now, I only see this quarter. When I go into like 4th quarter, when we get to the next quarter, I will only see that quarter. It will not add 3rd quarter and 4th quarter together. I have to go to final to see it all combined. And I would imagine y'all's works the same way. So you go to final and see it combined. Or like S2, if you have a choice of like S2, S2 should give you just this semester. But if you've got like a full year class, go to final for that class, so it will add up the whole semester. But if it's like the teacher's version, it doesn't add the quarters together as you go.
Because right now it says I only have 2 absences. One of my AP. Are you on the?
Are you in the quarter or the,
Are
are you in a quarter or a final? If you're in a quarter, it's probably not adding. Yes, you gotta go to the final to get it added up. Because even in the teachers, it will not add in the Qs and the quarters. We gotta go to a final. That or we gotta go to each one and hand add.
For this one,
I just found out today.
Yeah, because what type is it? That's the first thing you should ask yourself. What type is it? Yes, if it's single, oxidation numbers and switch.
this wall, Darlene. Okay.
Okay. First thing you need to do is, yep, so the first thing I do is write down what you know. So write calcium hydroxide plus hydrochloric acid.
Whenever we're balancing equations as well, does that diatomic rule still follow? Whenever they say write it out, well, write it out. Yeah.
Say what now?
Like whenever it says on the back, it says write and balance the equations. Do we just write it?
You just write it because I've already given you both sides. So you're gonna just write it into symbols and balance it. You don't have to predict anything.
So
Okay.
we don't have to do oxidation numbers?
Yeah, you're gonna have to look up oxidation numbers and crisscross,
Okay.
okay? Or decide if it's diatomic. But I've given you the predictions. You don't have to do any of that part. Okay, so let's compound, crisscross your oxidation numbers. Hydrochloric acid, of course, you know because you knew the formula for that, right? Now, you need to decide, is it single displacement, is it double displacement, is it synthesis, is it decomposition, is it combustion? What kind is it? Right, so you need to know these double. All right, so to make sure. You need to. Okay, so like, it's two you wrote down right here in that one. What are you gonna do? Yeah, you drew little lines and you didn't actually crisscross it. You're going down, so. Actually got it right. I can do it. There you go. Now, that 1 and 1, of course, you found. So now you know who's going to switch, right? So who's going to switch and where we're going to go on the other side? Okay, here we go on the other side. And then close to it. Put everything together. Now, put in your oxidation numbers and crisscross.
I think the answer is.
I did it right.
Okay, pretty sure this is right.
That's it.
There ain't nothing on the back of
And
this.
18 volts.
I don't know where is it. Yeah, there ain't nothing on the back of this.
It might
You
be
remember 6 times 4, 6 times 3. That's the first part of the test. And then.
Oh, it was always
Now,
20.
not all of our, why did you raise the first round back? What does it break down into?
12, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1. Yeah, I don't know.
No H's.
13, 1, 4,
No H's.
1, 1, 2, 1, 4, 1, 6,
No H's.
14, 3, 3, 2, 1, 3, 3,
Orange is just like
15, 2, 1,
orange.
1, 2,
CA.
2,
CA.
4, 7, 2, 6. 4, 7, 2, 6. I'm not gonna sit there and figure that one out. 17, 18,
3 balance, right?
1, 1, 1. If there's no numbers in front of it, let's go.
It was funny, we were in there.
So how do we know when you would put the consolidation?
2, 3.
I remember what? When you do the calculations, or left hand side of the.
When you decide what kind of reaction it is. Okay. That's why you decide. What kind of reaction it is, right?
Okay, so that's a synthesis, that's oxide, you're not.
Right, so you don't need the oxidation numbers because you're not switching it. Okay, so you don't need. But if you would say double displacement, you would have needed them to know who to switch. Okay, that's how you decide that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Here, I got it. I got mine balanced. Oh, maybe because I didn't break. Oh, you're not supposed to. I don't know. I got it as balanced.
I'm gonna trust you up.
Press cross. Okay.
That's fine. Yeah. See how these two twos, what should happen to those two twos?
Mechanical.
Yep.
Oh, I got it as wrong.
Okay.
Oh,
Now.
man, too.
What can you tell me about these and those?
They're the exact same, so it's not.
That's right. What is it?
I don't know.
So go look at synthesis on your blue sheet and see if you can figure out what it is before you even check my key to see what it turns out to be. All right, who else has a question? Lexington JV varsity baseball contest scheduled for today at Central has been moved to Saturday. Baseball and softball still play. Over here was bad today. I was bad did something.
No. Maybe they left.
They left it yesterday, I think. I don't think it was the day before. It was raining yesterday, wasn't it? That's when I was left. All right, who has a question? All right, I'm going to check on the three watching the video on the back. Y'all keep working. Y'all got questions? Y'all just swinging stuff in the air. You better get it by Monday.
Brady, if you could have some of
I feel like it's just hard thoughts in my head. I'm like, oh, I really want to leave. I'm leaving. That's a good thing.
I was talking about something. They should have been pictures. They didn't do it. He was thinking, that you creep out.
That's the answers.
Oh, yeah, that's the back. Irritated. Yeah, it irritated the first two that
Oh,
happened.
it's nitrite.
I wasn't sure if I deal with just.
I'm irritated. Me too, especially after I spilled my tea. I was mad. I spilled
Again?
It was
I don't even know what
How did you feel? Because I can remember the desks are so close together, like they're close to this. And I kicked it and it was filling a little bit and I reached to grab it and when I grabbed it, the whole thing came off and just poured everywhere. I didn't even get to clean it all up. I didn't even touch it.
I think it's just been aggravated. It's just aggravated.
And
Yeah.
And I'm just,
That just makes everything worse,
it
yeah.
does, it just amplifies everything. That ain't how you already know how I am.
I swear that yesterday. I had live yesterday.
If I do anything, I ain't doing the computer work. Or the, do we got like, what is it, sending them answers today? Or is it, she won't let us, we gonna have to vote like beer and. Once I go, shut up, she ain't gonna let us go at home.
She can't make you do the sedative derivatives because we don't have the sedative derivatives for the word.
Yeah, she was going.
So she probably.
She said she was gonna fix it last time. but
Well, she did not.
She did.
Still don't make you do it after sending them an answer from down here.
Well, that's not what we're doing today anyways. We're doing work than, choosing the right word. Oh, the 5 one, the easy one, choosing the right word. Oh, the 25.
Oh, there you go.
I don't never use my words for those. I always get
What y'all supposed to be doing?
I finished.
Then you sit down and run your English on your side. Do something useful and study for one of your other classes while I help them. Okay? We should all be working. Anybody else finish besides Samaria?
When did she fix it? Cause I was doing my work last night at 9:30.
I was too.
They're there now.
No. She tripping. And then she gonna have us go there. She's like, y'all can do it now.
Well, you know, she said she puts her dog down at about 9:30, so that's probably why she.
But I actually
so late.
put her at 11.
The other night when she stayed.
She was supposed to do it at 9. She was supposed to do it on Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. But she didn't do it Wednesday.
Not hard at.
Yeah, because y'all have
I
the
know,
Tuesday.
I'm not certain about it, cause we don't need this thing.
What did you say? She has to be.
But I wouldn't, cause usually I write it down, I probably won't even go back and write it. Is it kind of a class work?
Yeah.
That is,
No,
yeah,
it's
she
not- it's
combines,
part of, yeah.
she combines all of them, but it comes from. She's looking to see.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah.
I got an 82 first quarter, 85 second quarter.
How are you not making?
I hate you.
You're
just that smart. That's what it takes.
That is the test that.
What kind of evening?
I had a 94.
I had 92. If that project goes in,
Hate is the word I'm looking for. I don't see how. You love it. You love it. So did you say it's Jada, what is your favorite place about how to put AP relationship?
Well, she didn't really say anything specific about the class. She was just like, I need 2 AP classes next year, and it looks bad if I'm taking a step down instead of taking AP. She said, but if I don't take the AP language, whatever.
All right, we've got 10 minutes. Who still got a question? Now that I have them unconfuzzled. Alright, we have about 10 minutes, so if you will, does anybody have a last minute question they want to ask? Because if not, I really want to talk about some geometry with my last 10 minutes. Y'all look at me like I'm like,
We don't want you.
I don't care what y'all. No? Hey, y'all come out here because I'm going to teach something new. Just because I can.
Just because she wants to.
That's exactly right.
Not because she can.
Alright, let's get rid of this. Get rid of that and that. And that.
Are you gonna like put a link for the right answer on the left?
Yep, I'm going to load them up at some point. I meant to do it today, but during this class, but I got busy answering questions. Third period will be more about crowd control. I probably have time to do it then.
Yeah.
I think this might be it.
Yes.
All right. For those of you who like titles, you can write down a big S word is the title. Stoichiometry is the title. That S word that's up there on the board is the title. All right. This last unit that we're going to do, called stoichiometry, is the last sort of math topic that we're going to do. It's pretty short. And then we're going to switch gears majorly for about 4 weeks. Okay? We're going to then go to the topic that most chemistry classes do first. We're then going to do, okay? Which would cover the atom and quantum theory, the periodic table, and bonding. Most classes do that first. We're going to do it after we do stoichiometry. Now, most of you will not like it as well.
Great.
I'm just saying. Some of you will. Those of you who've really hated the math topics will like it better. Okay? Now, composition stoichiometry deals with mass relationships between elements in a compound. Now, this is the composition stoichiometry, is the type of stoichiometry we've already studied. Okay? We've already done this. Deals with mass relationships between elements in a compound. So can anybody give me an example of something we've done that deals with mass relationships between elements in a compound? Okay? Mass relationships between elements in a compound. Something we've done recently. That you're going to see on not Monday's test, but the next test that we've done.
Didn't we already have a quiz on it?
Yep, we have. Empirical formulas. That's one of them. Empirical formulas is one. There's at least two more I want. Minimum. Yep, molecular formulas is one that I wanted. Okay. Things we've done. Mass relationships between the elements. What else do we do when we were doing these same things? Percent composition. There's one more I was hoping for. Give up, just tell
Wasn't
you.
it something with the charts?
Well, you could certainly use the chart, sure. We could talk about mole conversions, but that wasn't the one I was looking for. We used it to do this and this. What do we have to add up to find a percent composition or molecular formula? Yeah, what was the name for the AMU thing? It had more than one name. I'll take any of them. Molar mass will be fine. Okay, you could have called it formula mass or molecular mass, but I'll live with molar mass. That's fine. Any of those things that we did are composition stoichiometry. Okay, all of those things we've already done. The new one we're going to add in next week is called reaction stoichiometry. Remember how I keep telling you those moles are not going to stay ones? This is where moles are going to start changing. Okay? Because now we're sophisticated. What have we learned how to do? It's Darlene's favorite topic. We've learned how to do what, Darlene? Balance equations. All right? So now we're going to deal with mass relationships between compounds in a balanced equation. So now we're going to be able to change from, let's say, grams of an A into grams of Cl2. Okay, so now we're going to explore a mass relationship from one compound to a mass relationship in a different compound. Well, the only way we can go from one compound to a different compound is using a balanced equation. Okay? The only way we can do that, and that's called reaction stoichiometry. Now, believe it or not, we have to learn exactly one skill to do this. You have to learn how to use a mole ratio on Tuesday, and that's it. After you learn how to use a mole ratio Tuesday, you've got all the new skills that you need, and then we just need to put some of the skills you already have together to do this. Like you already know how to use a gram to mole chart and change from grams to moles. We're going to add in mole ratios, which you're going to learn Tuesday, and then you've got all the skills you need. This chart, you're just going to go from 2 sections to 4 sections. Okay, that's it. Now, we're going to learn how to do 4 new kinds of problems I'm still debating whether I'm gonna throw in limiting reactants this semester or not, because we're a little ahead, but I might chuck it so we can get something at the end of the semester. Instead, your homework this weekend is to do what? Study. I'm gonna upload the 2 keys to the website because I've already scanned them and put them in my Dropbox so that I can upload those, okay? Then you can have the whole time on Monday for the test. If you have a calculator, please put it in my box over there so that I have them. If you need makeup work, I will be here Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday next week. But somebody still owes me a test in here. I'm trying to think. Abraham made his up. Justice made his up. Darlene is it. It's Darlene because there's one in here and one in third. Because there were 4. And I got 1 in each class. And I've still got 1 in each class to go. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesday, I cannot stay past 4:30 though. I've got to be out the door by 4:30.